All right, welcome back, everybody. It's currently almost a market close at Friday, 27th of August. We're going to do our usual daily recap. Today, we had big news, big reports coming in from for the US dollar from the Fed. We start, of course, with gold on the high time frame. So we had some reports. We had the PCE, personal consumption expenditure. We had the personal income. We had the year-on-year and month-on-month PCE. We had the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index, and then, of course, the main event that was the Fed Chair's Powell speech after the Jackson Hole Symposium about the monetary policies that the Fed wants to continue doing or change the monetary outlook of the US in their highs. So we saw that PCE was slightly higher than or as previous, and the personal income was actually higher, which is a good news. Michigan sentiment was slightly below consensus, but at the same time we had the start of the speech, so the Michigan consumer sentiment was sort of ignored. Let's start, of course, with gold. Our analysis was really to play between key levels and to wait for the sentiment that was given by Powell. So this is the analysis of the morning. We saw a big rejection at this previous sensitivity area around 1806, and then with many Fed members speaking about tapering and optimism across all the economic indicators, so labor, inflation, tapering, interest rates, we saw a big bearish move start from London session that brought price with high risk, high reward sells at 1803 up until 1784 with a spike that we're going to see on the 1 minute right before Powell's speech brought some dovish sentiment to gold that then had very aggressive 300 something pips, 350 pips bullish momentum. Let's go on the 1 minute. As you can see, candles are really small because the range that was covered today is really big. But coming from the morning, we saw price reacting already at this price sensitivity area, failing to break above, again failing to make new highs, and then starting a deeper correction below the key level 1803. We see price creating new lower high, lower lows, lower high, and then lower low, reacting then here. Just give me a second. Reacting here at this big 1795, 1796 price sensitivity area and key levels. We saw some bouncing in pre-London, pre-New York, a little dip below, pre-New York, trying to jump back up, reacting again in these previous highs, still ranging in this price sensitivity area. Yes, we have this spike up. We're already in New York session, but then we have a lot of positivity, and we can say, knowing about the future, that this was a nice price setting up for the investors, expecting possibly Powell being very dovish, not giving much bearish momentum, optimism towards the dollar. So, as you can see, we are in a New York Stock Exchange open. We saw a reaction in these previous highs, but it's more of a fundamental reason, price setting points more than just technicals. And we saw a deeper correction below this price sensitivity area, reacting perfectly to 1799 key level. Here we have a spike up, but at 4 p.m., 10 a.m. Eastern, we have this huge liquidity grab here in 1 minute, not even 1 minute, a few seconds, dipping below and reaching 1784, which is a price sensitivity area as well. Here, 17, no, where is it? This one, 1784.42. As you can see, this was already charted from these previous lows on the left hand side. As you can see on the hourly time frame, respected, exactly these previous lows. Amazing, amazing. But it was too quick to take advantage of it, because then price got impulsive spike, retesting 1795, going above 1803, retesting 1803 key level, breaking above the price sensitivity area, retesting it on the dot. Of course, not some liquidity grab, but then slowly, steady, making it into new higher highs above 1812.5 even. Let me just keep here, following the structure, making new high, and then starting to ranging, which is absolutely normal after such well, almost at 1820, next key level, after such an impulsive day, 350 pips. But let's mark it up a little bit better. Price sensitivity are expected pre-London. We can say that this is a consolidation at PSA slash 25 key level prior to speech. You can see also New York Open didn't actually make any big move, any big spike in price. It just continued to range. Many Fed speakers, many optimistic Fed speakers here, and then we have the main event, J. Powell, very neutral slash dovish about tapering and the current outlook US economy. And this, for the investor, signaled that the tapering is not close. It's not like Powell announcing that the tapering is September, October, but it's still to be determined, giving you very, very bullish action. Medium risk entry, safer entry, safest entry above key levels and price sensitivity area. This was very, very high risk entry. Okay. Let me just add this investors to the neutral tool as tapering yet still to be announced. While everybody wanted just a very hawkish Powell being more optimistic towards the US economy. Okay, so this is it for gold. And here we go on Bitcoin. High time frame, as you can see, this morning we were doing analysis. We were in this disgusting order block, reacting many times with no intraday closures below this price sensitivity area at 46,800. But this morning we were expecting price to either range again, take a safe sells below this level, or after ranging, breaking and retesting and going above in a bullish trend, because we made, as you can see, a high, then we made lower high, lower low, lower high, and we were in a lower low position on the market structure on the intraday high time frame. We are now at a sort of key position because we are either breaking above and making new highs or rejecting, as we are starting to see, and then saying that this is the last high, the last lower high. Today continue down. But as you can see, we're expecting price to break above 47,250, top of the order block, retest and go up. Let's go on the 1 minute. As you can see, let's go grab this. We were starting from ranging between these two price sensitivity areas, 250, and this is at 7,100. Just ranging. Yes, closing above, but not without very short-lived. No, not much juice in it. Still failing to break below. Still closing above and retesting multiple times until, as you can see, we failed to break 1, 2, 3 times the order block. So this was high risk high reward entry at the break of the order block as per analysis. Break and retest. I say that here because if you enter here, you're never getting stopped out anyway. You have, of course, some reaction at these previous highs. Let me mark that up here. But then you see that price is still creating higher lows. We react again, we break above. So this was a nice high risk high reward entry, very successful reward entry. But as you can see, above this 47,680 price sensitivity area, we saw a rejection, a double top being created, not giving you safer entries above the other price sensitivity area on the left. What I wanted to do was this, okay, with the last arrow over there. Okay, and then we see we can see a rejection and back into the range. Reaction again at the price sensitivity area, reaction again, but then closing below. Always, as you can see, failing to break below this previous low slash price sensitivity area. Another perfect retest on the dot, another perfect retest on the dot of this PSA. Very, very impulsive, pullback, impulsive look at this, double top, double bottom being created at 47,680, giving you a medium risk entry, high risk reward entry, the price then to continue up to make new highs. There you go. Then you will see another block being created because we are reacting to these highs, but as you can see, we are failing to break below to make new lower lows, which will say that might be a shift in market structure. Last higher high, last higher low, same level. If price would have done this, back below, retest, it was making a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, which was a shift in the market structure, but it kept the same level. Okay, Bitcoin. Then, as I told you, we see ranging, we see a trend line, you can see whatever. We see price making new high, breaking above these previous highs, but then getting rejected immediately again. Of course, if you still have runners from these entries, they are still alive. And then, as you can see, we have a few moments ago happened very, very strong bullish momentum. But then, again, ranging. Okay. So, no particular specific fundamental reasons for Bitcoin, like it might be on gold and EuroDollar, as we will see. But for sure, we had our impulsive entries, scalps, high risk high reward, or high risk high reward entry and a medium risk above the price sensitivity area that was chart from the morning. So this is it for Bitcoin. And the last pair that we're going to do for today, as usual, is EuroDollar, which, as you can see, was heavily impacted, as expected, by the dollar report, economic reports, and of course the main event that we already spoke about for gold. As you can see, we were expecting from the morning some movement between some movement between these price sensitivity areas, so between 1.1745 until 1.1771, 1775. And as you can see, we saw a move up, being rejected at this price sensitivity area on the left, going down, getting a rejection, retesting this price sensitivity area here, and then bouncing until it was in New York, as we saw exactly on gold. We saw a big spike, liquidity grab, setting point, price setting point, and then big spike up. And then we're going to see them into the 1 minute chart. As you can see, pretty clean, already pre-charted price sensitivity areas, as you can see from the morning. We see price reacting and rejecting 1775 as per analysis. Price never broke above and got rejected. Of Of course, the moves, I want to remember, the moves on a currency are not the same as they can be on Bitcoin, on gold. They do not move hundreds of pips because these are currencies. There are economies running on these values, and they cannot just be so volatile like Bitcoin, like gold, etc., or like stocks. And as you can see here, we managed to touch 1.1750. Okay, I'm back, sorry. So we were talking about how this reaction at this price sensitivity area, here in high risk, high reward entry, when we saw reaction and rejection at this level, giving you, as we can see on the left hand side, when price I don't want it black, there you go, that we broke below these previous lows on the left hand side, then we could have a safer entry, not pretty crystal clear, but I might say if we look on the price action, when we saw that not just breaking below the previous lows, because it did, but the pullback created it, never broke above these highs, meaning that we can call it head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, but that is being rejected, is a failing to make new highs. We can call it in many ways. Medium risk entry. And then reaction at PSA. And this should be in yellow. There we go. Reaction price sensitivity area. From then, since we are coming towards New York, like we did in gold, we are reacting again these previous highs, rejection, but failing to make new lows. We see that we are in a bullish trend. Pre-New York, yes, we react, we make a new high, but we get immediate rejection, and you don't even enter when it's so close to New York, knowing what the news, the reports are coming at 2:30, knowing that in 1 hour we have J Powell speaking. We start to see a deeper correction after this high is not beaten, is not overcome by this other high, which is a lower high. We can consider it as a lower high when we see a lower low. As you can see here, we have this reaction at these previous lows, and when we broke below, then yes, we have. That's why I prefer always to take a break retest instead of just the impulsive candle, because you have a retest, not on the dot, a little bit deeper, but then impulsively you can take high risk, high reward entry. Also, this one is medium risk entry for sure, not high risk, high reward, but not even safe. The safer is only below below this previous price sensitivity area on the left hand side. Entry. There you go. Playing, of course, for break and retest, perfectly on the dot. Playing until before the New York Stock Exchange open. Since then, what we see is yes, another block being created. Pre-Powell speech, we see very, very, very strong impulsive candle, like a few minutes making 75, like 25 pips, which is a lot for a currency, getting immediately corrected, reacting at this previous price sensitivity that was already respected, and creating that liquidity grab price point setting that we talked about here. Where did it close? If on gold, it reacted exactly on the dot of that 1784. That is perfect here. Let me go back on gold to see how perfectly it reacted at this price sensitivity area. If you put a buy limit here, you would be rich. Look here, exactly on the dot of these previous highs. Isn't it funny? Well, it's so interesting. Absolutely, for me, it's amazing to see these reactions. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then these 25 pips in a few seconds, a few minutes, let's say, and it stops exactly at these previous highs. Amazing. Amazing, I gotta say, here. And then the liquidity grab price setting point is the real bullish candle, the real bullish trend, as we saw in gold. We saw the weakness of the dollar, taking price at 1.18. 1.18. And since then, we see, of course, bigger, it's big range per currency, but price failing to break above this real important price sensitivity area that was already charted up. Here you go. Multiple rejections at 0.18. Liquidity grab. J. Powell speech. Reacting on the dot to previous PSA on the 1 minute chart. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Bullish. This is bullish, aggressive uptrend due to dovish speech from Fed Chair Powell. There you go. And this is EuroDollar for today. And this is the end of our daily recap. See you next time.